So date and time, let's look at that setting here. You can also access this very easily just by going over to the clock down here, right clicking on it, and you can click configure and it will open up this same settings here. So that's another way to do this. So in Windows, it can be kind of a pain in the butt to mess with how this displays the time over here, but in Linux, it's pretty easy. So if for some reason you were in the incorrect time zone for your location, you could change that here. You could change the region, the location specific to the general time zone that you're in, and the network time checkbox here. It's just saying, sync with the online servers to get the, most up-to-date, time and everything. I usually just leave that checked because there's really not a reason to not do that, in my opinion, but for most people anyway. But down here in the format, this is where you can very simply and, pretty nicely just change some settings if you'd like. So by default, Linux Mint uses a 24-hour clock. Meaning, it'll go, instead of resetting at AM and PM, it'll just keep going with the numbers. So you get up to, 2304 or whatever. I like to turn that off because I am not used to reading, time that way. But, that's easy to toggle on and off if that's what you, prefer. So you can say, now it's, 9:35 AM, whatever, as I'm recording this. And then this part here is really nice. Display the date. I like to use that on there. I just check it, and it says the exact date. Today is Tuesday, June 21st, 9:35 a.m. Trying to set Windows up like that, you can do it, but it's very manual, and you have to, type in these different codes. And the weird thing about Windows is that sometimes it will forget that, and it will, it'll set the date, and then, you can customize it so it shows the day and the month and all that, but it will sometimes forget that that's there, and it resizes the taskbar, and I've had it to where the date part disappears and the taskbar stays larger, the date is still there and it's just showing the time, and it just gets really weird. And and it's kind of complicated to have to set it up okay, let me do month codes and day codes and hour codes. Linux Mint, you just check this box and it says, oh, the date, okay, we got you. And if you want to show the seconds in the time, you can just click that and it will actually count the seconds. That's up to you whether you want to do that. And then it says the first day of the week. You can either do it by default on your time zone, or you can specify manually if you'd prefer Sunday or Monday on yours. And then that's that. That's a really easy way to change how your date and time displays, to make it look a little more like you prefer. So let's see the desktop settings here. Alright, so the desktop layout says show desktop icons on primary monitor only. So if you have a multiple monitor setup, you can change this to either show just on your main monitor, on non-primary monitors only, so not on the main monitor. You can show desktop icons on all monitors, or you can do no desktop icons. I personally like the no desktop icons option, because as you can see, that takes them away from here, and it makes a nice clean look for your desktop, and I've personally long preferred that, but of course that's just a personal preference, and people are free to choose what they would like for those settings. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave them off, even though it makes it a little bit more difficult maybe for video purposes, but I do like it looking that way myself, to where there's no desktop icons, and I just use either the menu or the buttons down here on the panel to access those same things. To access the home menu, you can just go to Files. As we discussed in a previous video, you can access your files right here. Places, you can go into the home menu up here. So to me, it's just easier to click right down here and then be able to have a nice clean looking desktop without the icons showing up on it. But that's how you change that, if you would like to do that, especially for multiple monitor users. It may be something nice to modify to your liking, so you can either see all your icons or see them specifically in the way that you want. You can also change here, if you are using icons. I'll just turn that back on briefly. You can also see like, okay, maybe I just want to see the home one and I don't want to see the computer icon. So you can toggle them specifically here. And when you say, oh, maybe I want to see the trash icon, well, there's your trash bin right there. So you can do that if you want to see specific of the default icons. And same with mounted drives. When you plug in a USB flash drive or something like that, it will show up here as an icon if this is checked. Otherwise, it will not do that. If you don't want to see those on your desktop, you can just check that to off, and it will change that. So that's what those are for. And I'm going ahead and set this back to no desktop icons for my personal preference. And it says options, show icons from missing monitors, which I'm not really sure what that even means. I'm guessing that might be like if you had multiple monitors and then you unplugged one or something, and you had some icons showing up only on the monitor that you unplugged, it might make them show up on the monitor that's left. That's my guess. That seems a very specific use case, but I guess that's helpful in case you only had icons on a single monitor and you don't want them to be lost. That might facilitate that. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn even more, you can find my books at books2read.com/Jonathan. That's books, the number 2, read.com/JONATHAN.